How many of you were brought here today by at least your mother? Okay. How many came perhaps with your grandmother? Anybody got a grandmother here today? A couple of you. Anybody here got a great-grandmother here? Come on, oh, there you go. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you got like a whole pew here. It's an amazing thing, isn't it, that in our faith, somebody usually brings us to church. Sometimes it's a mother or dad, sometimes even a grandmother. How about out there? How many of you would say it was a mother or a grandmother that showed you how to live out your faith? Yeah, everybody, I know you all would think I'd give my dad the credit, but my mom's the real Episcopalian. He's a convert. And even her mother was actually a true Episcopalian, generation to generation. And none of them were super human, super apostles. They had a very basic faith. A faith that lived out pretty regularly, but nobody would have said, wow, there goes one of those Christians. I know them immediately. And today, Paul says that about Timothy. He says, the faith that I see in you is the same faith that I saw in your mom and in your grandma. And that's a pretty cool thing, I think, that somebody say, yeah, you seem to go to church about as much as your relatives. And that there's this place of it that all you know how to do is perhaps say some prayers and perhaps how to just live out your faith. How many of you would say you have the most amazingly large and huge faith? Anybody out there think they have a huge faith? I knew Layla does. Anybody else have just really great? Lucas does too? Good. How many of you would say, I have faith about this much? About the size of a mustard seed. How many of you even know how big a mustard seed is? Anybody out there know how big a mustard seed is? Ever seen one? Itty bitty. Very small. You don't even like mustard. Well, don't go near mustard. You need to find a different metaphor for your faith. The thing about when Jesus said, if you had just this little itty bitty bit of faith, you'd be able to uproot trees. How many of you think right now that with the level of faith you have, you could go out and get rid of that tree? Right now. How many of you would say, I think Jesus was speaking in metaphors and doesn't want us uprooting trees and causing damage to the environment? That's probably a little bit closer. But the thing is that when he was trying, and the apostle said, you've got to make us be more faithful. We don't think we have enough. And Jesus' point was, now you've got about as much faith as you can actually handle. If you had much more than that, you might be scary. And I might actually ask you to do a lot more than what I'm already asking you to do. How many of you would say you also put forth just about the minimum amount of effort you need to not either get in trouble or to at least earn your allowance or to at least not have to go to summer school? It's true for most of us. We know what the actual minimum level of effort we have to put forward is to get the job done. Has anybody ever said to you, though, wow, you actually went above and beyond what I could ever have asked or imagined? I didn't think you would do that. Anybody ever been pleased beyond the fact that you got done what you were just told to do? Layla again, I knew. Ryan Wilson. Anybody down there know the rest of you were minimum effort? Okay. How about out there? Would you say there's been times that perhaps you've done more than was asked or imagined for? And when somebody told you that, you went, what'd I do? I have no idea. I just thought I was doing the right thing, doing what God would have me do. How many of you like that Jesus said you're just supposed to say you're worthless? I don't like that phrase either. I don't want to think of myself as worthless. Minimum effort, yeah, I'll own that one. But worthless, no. I'd like to actually believe that, for the most part, Jesus would want me to say, you did what I asked you to do. Occasionally you went above and beyond, but at least when I needed you the most, you were there. You represented me well. The faith that I know was inside of you showed itself in ways that mattered. So, I don't know, you guys could become super apostles for all I know. My hunch is that you will probably live out with just enough faith to see you through. Probably like most of the people sitting in the pews right now. To be able to say, I've got enough. I certainly think there are times that I could use a little bit more when things come up that I don't think I can deal with. But that mustard seed faith, that just little bit of it, is sometimes more than we can even ask or imagine. Amen.